Hi friends, I hope you're having a great day. I'm sick. So I'm just gonna apologize in advance because I probably sound a little rough today and potentially a little nasal as well. So I'm sorry about that. But it's just a cold. It's not COVID. I've checked. It's all fine. Just gonna have to get through this, and I hope my throat can handle talking for 25 minutes, but we will see. This is another Gothic. I've quite recently done a Gothic in Forgotten Hollow, which was a request from my patron Daniel, and after I did that one, and I talked a little bit in the voiceover about how it was slightly out of my comfort zone. I got a few messages from people telling me that they really liked it and that they would be interested in seeing me build more Gothic houses in the future. And I love Felix's Gothic set. It has lots of very useful architectural details that I tend to use in non-Gothic builds as well. And he has just released his Gothic interior set for free on his Patreon. I originally thought I could kind of do this build as a celebration of that. I'm not sure how much sense that makes, as I did use lots of his Patreon exclusive content for this, and then also I barely used anything from the actual Gothic interior. I'm trying to figure out if I used anything at all from that collection. So has a few Victorian items and just traditional furniture in general, and I'm pretty sure I haven't used any of it. So I'm gonna take that back, and you're just gonna have to enjoy this build for what it is without any further explanations. I love this wallpaper. It's so good, so I'll basically take any chance I can get to use it. And as I've recently gotten a comment on YouTube, and I'm just gonna figure out who wrote it. Is it this one? Rita. Rita has asked if I could share a little more of the whole building process, like plan and inspiration wise. I'm guessing just everything that you can't take from what you see in a sleepy build. So for the process, I went into this knowing that I wanted to build something small, because I've done way too many big builds recently and it all takes me way too long, and I just can't justify that in my life. Like, I've got no time to do anything and I'm stressed all the time. So I wanted to do something a little smaller. You're potentially already noticing that this is not as small. This is still a 25-minute video, but I have all these ideas and there's just so many things I want to do and I want to build, and it's so much fun when I'm in the zone. Then I really can't stop myself. But so I knew I wanted to build something kind of small, and I did not have any specific packs or like custom content sets in mind that I wanted to build with. That is what I usually have, like some sort of basic vision or some type of house or an architectural style. So I wasn't too set on any of those things when I started building this, and then I just looked through my little stash of pictures and references and stories that I have to see if there was anything that spoke to me. And when I saw the building that I'm referencing here, I loved how overgrown and natural it looked, like as if it's a very old building, and I wanted to make it look as if, since it had been built, nature had kind of taken it over. Not in a very dramatic sense. I've got another build planned for that sometime in the future, but just as if whoever lived here now had kind of decided to let nature do this thing and live in some symbiosis with it, basically. Like this is not my house, I'm sharing it with the trees that grow around it and that sort of thing. I'm not sure I'm making any sense. I'm sorry, I've got a massive headache. I'm sorry, this must be absolutely disgusting to listen to. So another thing I knew I wanted to do was use the pond tool, because I definitely haven't used that enough since we got it, and I actually really like it, and I like water, and as I wanted this to be a very natural garden, I thought it was the perfect opportunity to fill this lot up with more water than land and have this be a very calm, overgrown, as I said, maybe a little wild place. I guess the main thing that I wanted this to feel like is as if this place didn't really belong to the humans that possess it, in the sense that it's more of a joint venture between all different kinds of plants and nature, as in water and stones and grass and trees. So between a joint venture between all of that and the people that decided to spend some time in this place. And then having lots of nature around also just gives you such nice views and cozy feelings, and it just makes it a place where you can regenerate, kind of. So I went into this with way less of a specific vision than I usually do. Quite quickly after I had decided to do this watery loss, I found an inspiration picture of that little gazebo, potentially. Not sure what I should call it, but the thing you saw in the intro. I saw that something that looked quite similar to this, so what inspired me was this combination of the glass roof and then the statues that made up the structure to hold it. I thought that was very cool and felt very ancient or abandoned. I don't know what I felt when I saw it, but I felt something. I don't know, I guess I had this inherent feeling of it just being there, it not having been built specifically. I'm so sorry if this is all just gibberish and my fever talk, but I'm just gonna keep going. So, as I said, I was drawn to this abandoned kind of feeling. Oh, by the way, this is the structure that I was talking about, and you will not see me fully build this because it was painful to get this to the right height and to make those ivy climbing plant hanging things, hanging leaves, to get those to look right. That was lots of work, and it was just lots of fiddling around until it kind of looked right. So not too much to learn there, I guess, and not very interesting to look at. What was I originally saying? Oh, I was drawn to this feeling of this being abandoned, but, and this is a big but, I'm not gonna make that joke. You make that joke in your head. So I wanted this to have that kind of feeling, but then also for this to look lived in and cozy at the same time. So that's why I put that table out in the front. I do think that made this look way more approachable than it would have otherwise. And I've put lots of glasses and a picture to just make it look as if somebody had just gotten up from that table to, I don't know, go back inside and they were having like a nice iced tea, or I don't know, there's probably some berry bushes on this lot, I'm figuring. So maybe they made some juice themselves and that's what they just had out there. So that's what I wanted it to look like. And then this space, I wanted this to be in the water because in the reference picture that I had, which I'm pretty sure was a drawing or some sort of graphic design, it had this beautiful reflection in the water, and because of that, and I do think it kind of translates into The Sims, you couldn't really tell where it ended. So because you couldn't really see how deep the water was, and then the reflection just worked towards the same thing, that you couldn't really tell how far those stones extend down. But on the other hand, I wanted this to be usable or functional in some kind of way, because, you know, I sometimes build things just for looks and I don't feel too bad about it, but it's a really nice added bonus when something is actually usable in the game, even if it's just for like sitting in, and your Sims don't really need time to rest except from sleeping, but I like to imagine that you'd like to take screenshots, or I don't know how you handle your Sims, but maybe they do get some rest time sometimes and they just get to sit around and I don't know. Oh, they could read, I guess. You could also place an easel on here. Can't believe I haven't done that, but that's some advice. If you need any more activities, an easel would be beautiful in this. I'm just gonna call it a gazebo. So yeah, as you can see, I've put that swing. That's a swing. I've put a swing there, which looks beautiful. So it's just so dreamy. And I did turn it around because my playtesting sim couldn't access it from the other side, although I kind of would have liked it better if your sim could look out onto the water instead of into the gazebo, but it's still very cute. And then she could access that, but she couldn't get down and I had to reset her. I don't know what's up with that, if that was an individual problem, but I use MCCC. Was that too many C's? And resetting her worked just fine. So if you'd like want to take a screenshot there, or just let them have a sit and look out over the water, then that's an easy solution if they can't get back down. Or maybe they just don't want to get back down, which I would totally understand. If I sat on that swing and the sun was shining onto the glass roof, making beautiful shadow patterns on the water and on those beautiful sofas, I would never leave that place. So to get back to the process and the behind the scenes, as for the landscaping, as I said, I knew I wanted this to look natural and kind of overgrown. I like to filter for packs, just so I don't use too many different packs unnecessarily. So I definitely used lots of things from Get Together because those plants look very natural, and there's a great variety there for these plants that look like they could be in a colder climate as well. And they're all very pretty. And definitely used country living for the grass, and then also there's some beautiful debug plants and bushes in there, and then base game as well. Base game has lots of really nice like plain plants that don't steal the show. And then I knew I wanted to put a willow because those just belong next to ponds for me. And then I also really like to use the grasses, that one patch of grass that moves really intensely in the wind that came with base game, because I knew that would look lovely in the intro and the outro shots and would just give this very natural, breezy, dreamy look that I wanted. And then for the rest of the landscaping, that is kind of just filling up space and making it look even more overgrown, which is something I do quite a lot, so I just let it flow. Basically, I see where things look good. I've got like staple plants that I use a lot, the unkept shrubbery and that one really wide bush from Get Together, and then the fern and the low-lying palm plant, which is also from base game. And then I just place those, and I like to put a few flowers in between just for additional dreaminess. And that's it. That's the landscaping, basically. And I've just almost talked through all of the kitchen, which I really enjoyed doing because it was my first chance to use Harry's windows from the Spoons set. So if you're wondering, I did have this planned. I knew I wanted to use this window over some kitchen counters, and this was the perfect opportunity to have this beautiful view that comes with it. So I love open windows. I've always wanted open windows for The Sims. I'm so happy that we finally have those. They just change the space so much, and they give me even more of that summery feeling that I love so much and that I almost always want to convey in my builds. And just looking to the left of the screen right now and seeing that open window and that beautiful water and the sun and the ducks, which we can't see yet, but which would be there in live mode. I love that. I love that so much, and I think it really complemented the exterior as well. So even though the exterior is this otherwise traditionally Gothic, or I'm guessing neo-Gothic style, I do think that it looked very lovely to have that one modern open window there. And the kitchen is the perfect space for it, in my opinion, and I would love to use that place and to sit there. It's quite small. It only has a few counters, but I was thinking that because they have this table right there with the bench, they would probably use that as well to, I don't know, cut vegetables and what you usually do on kitchen counter. So there's some additional space there, basically. And then there's lots of storage through Harry's brownstone cabinetry, which looks lovely in this build. I love that grey plaster color, and I think it just complements this wall, which is from the kitchen, by the way. And then the Berlin stucco perfectly. I think that color combination is so lovely and calm, and then you can see all of that green through all of the windows, and that's just perfect to me. And as you can see, I used Felix's Paris sofas twice in this build, I figured, why not? You know, if I had access to those sofas in real life, I would put them literally anywhere I could, and they really complement the shape of this room. This is supposed to look like a tower, and I did not want to hide that on the interior, although I usually hate myself when I build rooms like this. Like, every single diagonal wall that I put anywhere during the room plan, and even when I built the exterior, I already know I'm gonna curse myself out later for it because they are so hard to furnish. I was surprised by how well this all worked out. So with this bathroom, that is also a very weird shape. I had to tweak this design multiple times. I cut most of that out because it looked very confusing. But I'm very happy with how that came out. I think it's a beautiful room in the end. And I especially liked putting up the blinds in the end because of how they clip through the windows. They kind of look like a custom window treatment, and I really enjoyed that. It's just very, very light and airy, which also makes it quite different from my last Gothic build. To get back to Rita's question about the process, all of the other rooms, the kitchen, the entirety of the interior was planless, improvised. I just knew I wanted to do that window in the kitchen, and I kind of went from there. And then for the rest of these rooms, they have very interesting shapes that kind of dictate how to furnish them. And even if it's just a tiny thing or an idea that the room suggests through its shape, then that's where I like to start. And then I like to think about what necessities this room needs and put those in because I like to forget them. And also it can be kind of hard to place a fridge, for example, if you've kind of figured out the rest of the layout, and then you suddenly need to place a fridge somewhere, which is huge and blocking of light and views and needs a plain wall behind it, and all of that can be kind of hard. So I like to get those things out of the way. But usually when I do the floor plan after I've done the exterior, I like to think where certain things are gonna go. So I like to make sure that there is a space in the kitchen where a refrigerator could fit. And I definitely think about what rooms are gonna have what purpose when I do the floor plan, because otherwise I just could not function. Definitely overwhelm me to make all those decisions at the same time. So I try to split them up throughout the process. So for example, when I started doing the floor plan, I tried to cram a bathroom and the bedroom on the top floor because that's just the kind of usual layout that I go for. But it didn't really work out with the windows and the stairs, and like I would have had some very awkward diagonal walls, and the room would have been split up very weirdly, and it would have been a pain to get a nice door in somewhere. And because of the placement of the stairs, that really only made sense there, which is, by the way, how I always start doing my floor plans. I always start with the stairs because just like the fridge is the hardest thing to place in the kitchen, the hardest thing to place overall in the house is the stairs, at least for me. So because of how those are placed, in order to not have you walk through the bathroom to get to the bedroom, which would have been hella annoying, I would have had to put the bathroom in that little circular tower section, which is the room that has access to the balcony, which in this case, I did not want to be the bathroom. So I switched all that around and decided to not have any walls up here, which led me to make this a bedroom slash office that just has this little movable partition that allows for some privacy and to just split up that space a little more, but it saved me from having some very awkward walls. And all I had to do then was choose a room that would make sense to have next to a bedroom without a proper wall in between. So yeah, thank you for spending a half an hour of your day with me. I really enjoyed it, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.